I feel like I can't play him when he's not painted.
Welcome to Crotone Entertainment. It's Morphin Monday. You just heard Julian giving his analysis of why we should paint our figures. I'm Chris, and I'm here tonight with
Bree,
and we're here to talk about Hyperforce Red. If you couldn't kind of tell from following the last four videos,
because everybody's disappearing now.
Well, also everybody else is painted. That was kind of a clue. So Hyperforce Red today. So let's get into it. I think this guy's name is Marvin. So we're going to paint him. It's going to be very similar to the other Hyperforce Rangers. A quick and easy paint job that's going to look striking by the time we're done. So let's get right into it with our Citadel color Contrast Black Templar.
Also known as Talent in a Bottle.
No, that's Nuln Oil, but this is an incredibly useful color. So like any of the other Hyperforce Rangers, we're painting this all over the tunic or the jacket or the shirt. Oh, that got blurry there. Guys, I'm a really good cameraman.
Okay, guys. Okay, quick. As we're painting the black, we know that we paint the black. Let's just qualify this one. This was filmed during a family painting day, and things may get a little blurry and jerky at times because the 6-year-old was getting antsy because he had painted his model, and so he was going over to check what Chris was doing, and then he was coming over to check what I was doing. So
he bumped the camera a few times.
Yeah, it got entertaining.
It got bad. Well, I had trouble with this one, and I think it's because I had to make extra space on the table for you guys to set up your painting stations, so I couldn't set up the camera and the backdrops where I normally like them. So I had a hard time finding a fix on an angle for this one. You're going to see me kind of slightly change the angle a couple of times in this video, but anyway, you've seen this step before if you watched any of the Hyperforce painting videos. We're just doing that Citadel Contrast Black. We're hitting the belt, we're hitting the tunic or jacket, if you will, we're hitting the sleeves, we're hitting the boots. I also had a strangely hard time getting coverage this time. After the first run through, there were some spots where the primer was showing through, and all I did to fix that was just a quick touch-up of the Contrast Black. It wasn't really a big deal. But we haven't actually talked about at all in the Hyperforce series is the primer. See, there's me adjusting the camera right there. I didn't do the standard Krylon 2X matte perfect gray, even though I totally did. I did more of a zenithal with this one. Now, zenithal is a fancy word everybody likes to throw around in the painting world. I've never looked it up. I don't know if people are actually using the word correctly, honestly, and I probably didn't do it correctly, but for this particular Ranger, I actually primed him a dark gray, and if you will just plant your eyes on Marvin's crotch, which is a really inappropriate thing to say.
Why did you say that?
Because it's the most obvious spot. I actually sprayed this whole model with a mid-tone gray. I forget the exact name of the color. It's not really relevant. You can use any mid-tone gray you have, and then when that was completely painted and dried, I hit it with the 2X perfect gray from both a kind of a 45-degree angle and then directly above it. So it's really more of a speckling of that gray that takes the contrast really well with a little extra natural shadow. You can actually see it best on Jack, which is Hyperforce Yellow, but I did do it on all of them. So I think it gave a little bit of extra shading, and you can see we're being a little sloppy on the boots here. I did do a cleanup of this before I did the next step, and what I did is I just took a thin brush and I took some Citadel Gray Sear, and I just touched up like right under the belt, right above the boots, all that sort of thing. But this is a pretty standard start for our Hyperforce Rangers, so there's not much to say.
What I'm hearing is that because Jules and I came to hang out with you,
I'm not going to blame it on the kid.
Oh, so since I came to hang out with you,
I will blame it on you. That's right. No, I wasn't blaming it on you either. It's just, I don't know. I didn't have the angle. I just had a hard time. I had a hard time getting the position. But that's okay, because that's actually important to see. I keep talking about the everyman paint job.
And it's also the everyman photo.
And the everyman photo shoot, because I'm really to see you change the angle here, and we go to our Citadel Contrast. That wasn't the Blood Angels red. I forgot what Flesh Terror's red. That's what it was. Yeah. This is going to be our red base coat. Like all of these, we could stop after just a couple more coats of paint, but we're going to go just one step further. I've talked about the Everyman on this channel before. I don't think I talked about it recently. Everyman is... No,
you did. You talked about it the last episode.
Well, I'm going to do it again. Because it's either talk about that or talk about Tommy Oliver. And Everyman is a very simple concept. Can we paint these minis with a couple of colors? Because I know a lot of people who are playing the Power Rangers board game aren't necessarily wargamers of other games, so maybe they don't have big painting setups. Or even if they do, maybe they've got, like me, literally thousands of unpainted minis that you're never going to get to before you die. So you need a faster way to crank them out.
But I thought the rule was he with the most models doesn't die.
Or whoever, he who dies with the most unpainted models wins.
Oh, there it is.
It's a contest. And if you ever finish your last miniature, you drop dead as a wargamer.
Oh.
So you got to keep kind of one in reserve.
Yep, that's how I'm going to keep you alive.
But anyway, the goal is as few colors as possible. And so let's count the colors. This is two. Two colors.
Oh, no. No, now Jim Henson's going to come for us.
Jim Henson is going to come for us. So this is pretty standard fare. What do we want to talk about tonight?
Well, can we talk about the fact that anybody who rolls up to a fist fight or a martial arts fight with claws is definitely winning?
You know, this is going to get completely off topic. I don't like claws as a weapon. I don't like this miniature's pose. Now that he's painted, and he'll be painted by the end of the video, I like him now. I like the way he looks. I've never been a fan of claws as a weapon. I don't like him in video games. I don't like him in D&D. I don't like them here on Morphin. I've never been a fan of claws as a weapon.
No. Rawr, rawr.
No.
Rawr, rawr, rawr.
No, that's not what cats sound like at all. They go, wow, wow. All cats. That's just jaguars.
No, we have a cat.
No,
that is not what he
every
sounds
cat
like.
goes, wow. Every bird goes caw, and every cat goes, wow, wow.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But I've never liked claws, which is here's where I get off topic. This is going to be really strange. The first RPG I ever played had a monk. I didn't realize he was a monk at the time. I didn't know RPGs at the time. I was young. It was Final Fantasy III American, 6 Japanese. It was Sabin.
Sabin
He was
does have claws.
He was my favorite character in that game, but I hated his weapon.
Well, wait, isn't Sabin the one that eventually ends up solar plexing?
He suplexes a train.
Suplex it. That's it. Sorry.
I should stream video games terribly. It would be funny. Yeah, everybody does that. That's a terrible idea for the channel.
Yeah, don't do that.
I'm not
going to do that.
I'm not going to do that.
But we can make random references to them.
Well,
ooh. I think we're going to change
We
colors.
are. We're about done with the red here. And the clips are going to get shorter from here on out because I was having such a hard time painting. But we're going to go to the Runefang Silver. Because I had such a hard time painting even with the big brush, I had a lot of issue with the smaller brushes. So, guys, I apologize. It's going to be a whirlwind from here on out where I just kind of zip through. I'm going to show you a little bit of the painting and then kind of move on to the next color. Well,
and I had gotten you new paintbrushes, too, so you were probably
I didn't use the new paintbrushes. I didn't. I used my old paintbrushes. They're the same paintbrushes.
Well, I tried.
Well, mine just aren't worn out yet, so I'm saving them for whenever I'm at.
Nope, I'm hurt and offended.
That's a good topic.
Oh, and look, you can see how Chris stores his models because there are the magnets at the bottom for the retrograde fit that he did on all the boxes to find a way to store the models.
Yes, I've mentioned it before. I think it was before you joined us. I used 12x12 steel sheets I bought from Amazon. I think they're like $6 a piece. And I used the 5mm by 1mm magnets that I think I get like 150 of them or something for like $8, $9, whatever it is. You can use any size magnet you want. I would recommend sticking with about the 1mm because it doesn't stick out too far from the base, but you can use any size you want, really. This can kind of get us back on track talking about brushes. Because I was going to get us way off track. I was going to talk about what was upcoming with the channel and some of the projects I'm working on in the back scene. But
nobody cares about that.
Nobody.
They don't want to know about that.
I don't even care about that. This can get us back on track, though. So anyway, we're doing our silver here, same as all the other Rangers. We're doing the silver on the jacket. I know it's not really canonical, but I want to do it. I think it looks good. We're doing the silver shoulder pads, the belt buckle, the boots, the helmet, and the claws. But paintbrushes. Oh, boy. There's a lot to unpack.
So much to unpack with paintbrushes.
Wow, we were like right on the same thing there.
Bill, it's so easy, and I know I talked about this.
By the way, we're done.
Oh, there we go.
We're technically done. We can stop right here if we want. Now that I've done his helmet. See, I transitioned. I skipped past his helmet. We could technically stop right here. This is a painted mini. We have our red, we have our black, we have our silver. We're not going to stop there. You know we're going to go to the Gnome Oil. You know we're going to wash this all over all the silver. While we're doing that, brushes. Oh, my goodness. Games Workshop.
Okay, well,
Games Workshop for 2 seconds. They just came out with a new line. I don't know if you're
all of your money. Yes, I saw
it. The new synthetic brushes. Synthetic tip brushes are a good thing. Well, and apparently, look at this framing. This is amazing. What exciting video this is. They just came out with new synthetic brushes, and a lot of people are really excited about it. I haven't even looked at the price because I'm sure they're overpriced. We're going to talk Games Workshop at one point and why I have quit buying new Games Workshop and why I've largely quit playing Warhammer as a whole in a future video. And it's going to be an upbeat video. It's not going to be a negative Nelly video, but we're talking about paintbrushes. The synthetic brushes they came out with, everybody got really excited because it's full of synthetic brushes. I buy the cheapest brushes I can.
Yeah.
I don't care.
No.
Here's why I don't care. when I buy a paintbrush that effectively comes out to be a 50-cent paintbrush, when it eventually starts to split, and if you're using contrast paints,
It's going to happen quickly.
It will split. I don't know what it is. I think it's because the contrast is so liquidy, it flows down deep into the ferrule there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's called the ferrule, and it spreads them.
Terry Farrell.
If you're using your contrast, it's going to happen. I would rather buy a pack of 50-cent brushes and just throw them away every week or two than buy a brush that's going to last me a year. That's going to cost me $20, $30 for a brush. Even an $8 brush. I just don't want to do it.
I would rather spend the money on the toys than on the things to paint the toys.
I don't know if I go that far because I spend a lot of money on paints. But anyway, we've got our Null Oil on here. And again, we could stop the mini right here if we wanted to. We're absolutely not going to stop the mini. We're going to do one more layer on the red.
And we're only going to see the butt.
Wow, I am not doing great today. Wow.
There he goes. He's back.
I realized it. I realized what I was doing. So I moved on to the Citadel Evil Sun Scarlet, and we're just doing the highlight layer. We've talked about this a little bit. I'm taking a finer tip brush. Yeah, look at all that dried paint on there. You can tell I've used this brush a lot. Oh, wait, that just screwed up. Oh, that's when Julian hit the camera.
That's when Julian hit the camera. Oh, sweet boy.
So we're gonna put that back into frame. Like we've talked about with highlighting, there's not a lot of complicated highlights on these minis. I'm looking for the deepest crevices, and I'm keeping them as dark as possible. This typically means on the legs, it's going to mean behind the knees, it's going to mean where the leg meets the butt cheek, and it's going to mean in the crotch area. Look, we got over this a couple episodes ago, I thought. We apparently didn't. We're laughing at it. You're a child.
We did not discuss this because I was not here for Jack when I know that you had that discussion with yourself.
The first time I said crotch, I was like, man, should I say crotch on here? I realize it's not actually a bad statement. But again, in pretty much every model, especially in the dynamic poses like the Rangers, because none of them keep their legs together, they
gotta kick people. That's their kicking mode.
When they have to oversay hi-ha as much as they can, which, is not a bad thing. It's fun. Actually, I heard that centers your chi and makes you strong. This is really off topic. Anyway, you're looking for the deepest crevices, and you're just keeping them the darkest color. If you go further, if you take additional steps, you're going to look for how light would be reflecting off of it and how light would be shining on. You're going to keep going to different colors, but that's not the goal here. The goal here is anybody can do this with a handful of paints. I think we're on 5 paints now. We did the Black Templar, we did the Flesh Tearers Red, we did the Runefang Silver, we did the Null Oil, now we're on the Evil Sun Scarlet. We're up to 5 colors so far in this guy.
Yeah.
That's it.
And 3 of those colors you can use on all of your Rangers.
Yes. 3 of them are kind of core colors that you're going to be using over and over again.
So as long as you get a red, a black, a green, a blue, a yellow, and a pink that you like outside of that.
Well, there's no green on this team.
None on this team, but at Rangers in general, you should have a green for anybody who's not Chris, and therefore dodging green.
We're gonna time jump ahead here real quick. Jump ahead. The red is finished. I was having a really hard time getting the details, but we're gonna look up close. You see, kind of on the tunic there's some spots where there's naturally deeper areas. Kind of on the helmet, I left kind of a little bit of the darker red in there. I'm pulling the Evil Sun Scarlet back out, and I'm pulling the Abaddon Black out because now we're going to get into the base. We're basically jumping to the end here. But here's the thing. You don't even need the 2 reds. We have the contrast red and we have the regular red. You could do this all with the Evil Sun Scarlet. Yeah. If you wanted to skip the Flesh Tearers Red, you could have painted all of his red clothing the Evil Sun Scarlet and then wash it heavily with the Null Oil wash. And the Null Oil is going to seep into the deepest recesses. It's going to darken the red. It's going to add a little more black than I wanted to do here.
Yeah, it does.
But you could do it.
Yeah. If you're using the Null Oil to kind of do your shading, it will give you a little bit of a more truly dark tone in your crevices. I hate saying that word, but in the crevice area. But it is if you're only looking to go into a paint store and buy, 10 or 12 paints and have that be the way that you start your painting collection, Null Oil, I will tell you, is money in a pot. It is
wow, apparently I'm choking on camera. That's going to be terrible for the audio.
Oh, that's glorious.
I'm going to leave it in.
Yeah.
So anyway, we've got the black on there, and as usual, what I do is I dip my paintbrush right into water, and I dip it in the black in a nice thick coat. Every Ranger, I've been doing the same thing. I paint the rim the color of the Ranger. I said it before, I regret doing this for Black Rangers. I wish I did every Ranger a really, really dark gray. but I did every Ranger black on the top of the base. So the Black Rangers just have double black going on, and it doesn't look as good as the others. But it actually looks really good on the red. And we're coming up to a wrap-up point already. Really quick, easy paint job. 5 colors, 6 colors, because the Abaddon Black came in there.
Yeah.
6 colors. We have painted our last Hyperforce Ranger, which means we get to move on. I've had a special request to move on and do Mastodon Troopers as our next target. So we're going to do Mastodon Troopers next week, and then after that, we're going to get into our Ranger Miser videos.
They look so good together.
They look like it's a party, isn't it?
It's awesome.
If you think they look good, like, subscribe, hit the bell button for notifications. I got to get out there to please the algorithm. These guys are ready to play.
They're done. They're good to go.
Thank you for watching Crotonian Entertainment, guys. We'll see you next week for Mastodon Troopers. Like and subscribe again.
Have a nice night.